are live. I can't believe it. It is the first show of the Authentic Jo Show. Welcome. It is October 11th. I'm so excited. I hope our numbers will come up. I can't tell what's going on Facebook. I can't tell any of those things, but I just want to say thank you. I'm here. I'm Jo Lena Johnson, also known as Authentic Jo. And let me tell you where that comes from. My first name is Jo, and my middle name is Lena. And Jo means love, and Lena means light. And so I'm coming to you today in love, hopefully with light, in order to help us solve some problems. A couple of disclaimers. If you come on the show, just know that this will be published on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, all types of social media. So that is my disclaimer. So I just want to let you know. Also, there is a link. If you are with me on my Facebook, I shared a link. If you want to come in live on the show, please click that link and you will come into the area, and then I will call on you for comments. You probably want to know what the show is about first. Also, we will be doing this every Tuesday, and I want to encourage you to sign up on my YouTube channel, Authentic Jo Show, on my YouTube channel, because we will be broadcasting there exclusively coming up. But I have a lot of followers on Facebook, and I wanted to get all of us old folks over there. Okay, so here we are. There we go. There it was. It just appeared on screen. Isn't that awesome? I didn't even have to do anything. I love it. So anyway, today is called Black Men Searching for Perfection. Black Men, searching for perfection. And I asked the man what he thought about that. He said, "Oh, I think you're trying to bring some smoke." And I said, "It will be interesting. I guess you have to watch and see." So we will see. So I already know I have a couple of guests who are going to come on. I'm going to have a woman come on first, and then I'm going to have a man come on, and then hopefully you'll decide to come on as well. But I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm trying to be helpful. But let me share a couple of things that I do know. Number one, men and women communicate for different reasons. Most women communicate to be in relationship, to have a rapport, to have a connection. Most men communicate for one reason, one or maybe three reasons: information, reporting, and results, or information, reporting, or results. So that could be one thing as you think about it. So if you call a woman and you say, "Hey, how you doing?" She's going to tell you the story. If you call a man and you say, "Hey, how you doing?" He's going to say, "Fine." Now, I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but I am trying to help you. And let me put my phone on vibrate so that it won't do what it just did. Sorry about that. So if you think about it, a lot of times we have unmet expectations. And when we have unmet expectations, that's where the breakdowns happen. That's where the miscommunication happens. And that's where the conflict happens. And because men and women see things differently and we're motivated differently, we often have problems. But what do most women want? They want a man. They want a good man. How about we want a perfect man? But when you want a perfect man, you have to ask yourself, am I perfect? Am I a reflection of what it is I'm looking for? And what does perfection really mean? And I'm going to tell you that in our capitalistic society, we're always striving for more and different and better. But are we being more and better and different? And is something actually wrong with us? Or are we a product of our past? Are we a product of our environment? Are we a product of things that have happened that we haven't healed through? So you have to ask yourself. So I was talking to a man, and he was kind of explaining to me some of his challenges. And he told me, "I didn't get married for a really long time. I didn't even introduce my girlfriend to any of my friends or family for a really long time because I didn't feel worthy enough to ask her to marry me." And I said, "What? You're a great guy. What's going on?" He said, "I thought I needed to have more money. I thought I needed to be able to handle everything myself. So I didn't want to ask her and drag her in with my stuff." And I said, "Well, what changed?" He said, "Kevin Samuels changed me." I said, "Uh-oh, Kevin Samuels." Now, what he didn't know is I spent about 40 hours in Kevin Samuels University. Okay. So I knew I have my own thoughts about Kevin Samuels. Okay. But he said Kevin Samuels really helped Black men who were listening. He was hard on women, but he was also hard on men. And I said, what do you mean? He said he told women that they didn't necessarily need a high value man because they weren't ready for a high value man. I said, that's true. And he said, but so many of us secretly were trying to be high value men, and he was pushing them away from us. And he was giving us an excuse to cheat. He was giving us an excuse to try to be who we were, do more, or whatever. But at the same time, he was telling women, go get an average man. Go get a hardworking man. Go get a man who you can love and who can love you and who has the time for you and who has the opportunity to be loyal or faithful to you. And I said, yeah, he did do that. And he said he told men to get groomed. He told men to wear some suits, and he told us to get together. But he also allowed us to, if we wanted to aspire to be high value men, to do that too. I thought that was really interesting. So after we were having this conversation, I decided that I wanted to have the show's title again be, and let me look at it so I can make sure I'm right, Black Men, Searching for Perfection. So as a woman of a certain age, you know, I've made some poor choices in my life. What about you? So I'd like to invite a few women on right now to talk about our perspective about searching for perfection in Black men. And so if you would like to join the live, if you're watching on Facebook and you look on my Facebook link, I did put the link there, and I'm going to go to the live. Now, you guys look. This is my first time live. We are on, he just link in the description. Link is in the description if you're on YouTube. Thank you so much. This is why it's great to have people. And I'm going to go to my Facebook right now and see myself live, hopefully. Let me see if this works. Can I see myself live talking? I can. Okay, so I'm going to put in the comments the link. So I can hear myself, but let me put this in the comments too. Hold on one second, you guys. Okay, so I paste the live link in my Facebook link as well. So there it is. All right, so if you want to come on live and you're a woman, let's talk about Black men searching for perfection. So please come on in, and I have somebody in already, a woman in. So let's talk about this. And if you have any comments, I want you to put the comments, especially on the YouTube link. And let me tell you a couple more things. If you'd like to have a one-on-one consultation with me, put a link in the YouTube or send me a note. And I do offer one-on-one consultations. If you've ever heard of Dear Abby, that's what I'm trying to help you be with you, to do with you, is to be Dear Authentic Jo. And I'll share with you from my heart, and maybe we can work through these problems together. Okay. And so we're going to go from there. So let me pull in Kim. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Jo Lena.
How are you?
Great. How are you?
Great. Well, thank you for being my first guest ever on the Authentic Jo Show.
We're making history.
Yes, hopefully we are. Do I sound okay? Can you hear me all right?
I can.
Okay, good. So you heard, yes, we want you all to like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It's a lot of messages going on here. Okay, so Kim, when you hear Black men searching for perfection, what do you think?
When I hear Black men searching for perfection, so I think that they're looking for the whole body, that whole body image that we see on TV and the reality shows, and also the homemaker type. So they want both of those, from what I see, all wrapped into one. And I don't think it exists.
Okay, so you think Black men are looking for the body, and that's what they're focused on?
The body and the homemaker as one person with all of that.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Is that all you think when you hear that title? What do you think women are looking for?
I think women are looking for, we throw that word out, the high value man as well, the man that can take care of everything. But also, unfortunately, I feel like some women are looking for they want to be taken care of, but they also want to be able to be free to do things that maybe a woman that is being taken care of or is married in a committed relationship with children wouldn't be doing. And maybe that woman may not be going out to the clubs or posting sexy pictures on Instagram all the time. So that's what I think is going on.
Well, I don't agree with it, but I do agree with what you're saying. I think a lot of women do feel that way. But here's the problem. You said they want a high value man to be a man to take care of everything. They want to be taken care of, but then they also want to be independent.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
how does that work and how is that fair to men?
It doesn't work. And I think like my generation is realizing that finally that I don't think you can't have it all in that sense. So
Yes.
somehow everyone, both people cannot be the boss, so to speak. Usually, I came from a working class family where my stepfather and my mom both worked, and two salaries together made things better. But I think what
Mhm.
we're looking for now is that one person that can do all of it, but still allow us to have all these freedoms and I don't want to use the word freedom. I think
Mhm.
that might be a trigger word for some, but there's a commitment that goes along with it. So
Yes.
we're just not on the same page as we used to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. And so part of the challenge is okay. So do you want to explain if there's anybody who's watching who doesn't know what a high value man is, and maybe you don't even know who Kevin Samuels is. So let me step back 2 seconds here. Kevin Samuels was a YouTube sensation. He had been on line for quite a few years, and he was talking to men. He was a stylist and things like that. And then he started talking to women on YouTube, and he asked them to rank themselves, and he asked women a lot of questions and talked about the modern woman and how if you were a certain age, then you were not going to find a man, and that you needed to start focusing on different things besides your education, getting a higher education, or getting a high power job, or making more than men, and how we're often very difficult and too independent, and we won't ever get married, especially if we're like our age. And so I thought it was quite interesting. I wasn't offended by him. However, I feel that a lot of young women, he really touched them because they didn't necessarily have a father figure or a stepfather or father in the home. And they hadn't really had a man talk to them about certain things that are important, especially later on in life. So, although he was definitely controversial, I think he had some good things to say. And I think a lot of women might be mad at me, and that's okay. And you can come on and talk about it, no problem. But I just wanted to give you some background. With that being said, I think a lot of times we want to have it all, but we don't want to give it all. Would you agree with that, Kim?
Oh, I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't work. I think
Yes.
we need to reprioritize what we want.
Yes, absolutely. And so, unfortunately, Kevin Samuels passed earlier this year, and it was interesting. The story went that he had met a young lady, and they were in his place, and sometime overnight, um, after being with her as an adult, he passed. And it was sad that he would be in his early 50s and pass like that. So um, it's just interesting how you can achieve a certain amount of success, and then you have to think about what success looks like. And I think a lot of women think of success is about money, or I have my house, I have my car, I have this or that. But, we know how to cause conflict, but do we know how to cuddle?
Right. Yeah.
I don't.
We got to do more cuddling.
We got to do
We
more
gotta do more
cuddling. Yes. Okay.
cuddling.
Well, you're not very controversial tonight, Kim, so that's good. Okay. Well, I'd like to bring on a man. I have Ronnie Lackey waiting in the studio, so let me welcome Ronnie. Hi, Ronnie. How you doing?
Hello.
See, I already
Right.
said hello.
Right.
Men don't have a lot of words. I want to say hello. I'm fine. How are you? Thanks for being on the stream, Ronnie. How have you been doing?
I've been doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. You were listening to what Kim and I were talking about. Do you have any thoughts about Black men searching for perfection? When you hear that title, what do you think?
I think as far as black men, we're looking. You were good on what you were saying as far as why we wait. You know, we try to make sure when we're younger, we're trying to get everything in order
Mm-hmm.
because you were. somewhat taught if you had a male figure or something like that. And then sometimes when, like myself, I didn't grow up with a male figure. I just grew up with a whole bunch of strong women. You, as when you're a protector and provider for your family, and you protect your mom and all of them, you fixate in your mind what that man has to be and what you have to have before you're ready to, and a lot of men, include like myself, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves because we don't want to end up like a single parent, or have a whole bunch of, I'm talking about men. I talk
Okay.
about boys and dogs and all that. I'm talking about men. Men don't want to go out there and just put themselves out there. So we try to hold on to what we can and manage what we have until we just feel like we got everything in place, which, sometimes we lose out on a good woman because she don't totally understand what we doing. But in our mind, we got it like, look, we need to set this up. We need this right. We just feel like we got to have everything right. And then on the other hand, we want to sow our oats. So then we know that we in it for everything. You do everything you do everything before you get in a relationship, then you ain't got to worry about, oh, I ain't never did that.
Meanwhile, the woman's biological clock is ticking and the man is 59 and the woman is like, I'm pushing 35, I'm pushing 45, I'm pushing 50. I can't get a kid out if I wait that long.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't say it was an easy process.
You all are so agreeable.
It's not an easy process, but I mean, and like I say, it has holes in it, and I think as men we should, communicate actually what we're trying to do, and what we actually expect before we're ready to get married,
Mm-hmm.
and what we're actually looking for in a marriage.
Okay, so I have a couple questions. You said I'm talking about men, not boys, not dogs. So can you what's the how let's define what a boy is and what a dog is. Can you do that for me?
Okay, a young man, a boy, he's just experiencing life.
Okay.
He doesn't quite totally understand what life is, what is his total responsibilities going to be in life. So he's just winging it. You're just out there doing what feels good to you.
Okay.
Okay, a dog is just a dog. A dog don't care nothing but himself and getting what he wants. A dog also knows how to camouflage what he is
Ooh.
to a certain extent. You know, But there's always red flags out there because you can't hide everything. And a dog don't care to hide everything. But you hide just enough so they can feel like, oh, he's something. Because a good dog is gonna be something.
Ooh.
Just ain't ready for everything that comes along with
Hmm.
He said not just a dog, a good dog. So he's not gonna hide everything because he's like, this is me and you better take it or leave it. That's the kind of good dog you're talking about, right?
No, a good dog is that one that confuses women a lot. That good
Oh.
dog, you feel like, oh, I got a catch and he's gonna be with me and only me because he has the qualities of a man. That good
Mm.
dog got probably 70% of what a good man is. But he still ain't sold all his oats. He still want to try stuff. He still want to go out there every night and see if he got it.
Mm.
He still gonna get them numbers. He still gonna flirt, do it all, and and I don't never tell anybody. I've been married for 20 years. You don't lose your eyes. If a woman think a man ain't gonna look, they crazy. That's just point blank. And ain't no woman about to fool me that they don't look because I grew up around women. That's all I know is women. And guess what? I know y'all tricks. See how y'all get to look at men. Y'all tell us to look at that. Look at that. Look, that don't make no sense. But the
God.
meanwhile, y'all scoping them out. And we sitting up there talking about, yeah, not knowing that y'all really scoping them out.
Okay. All right. What? Okay. Before I say anything, what do you think about that, Kim?
Well, I want to know when does the dog part go away? When has a man sown his royal oats and he's done with that? Because you said, okay, if he's 70% of what I want, then that other 30%, when is he going to grow out of that part of it?
That depends on the man himself. Some men, they will show you that that's not, they don't want it. They don't want a pure relationship. They don't want to be tied down. You have to, and I hate it, but sometimes you just have to fill it out because they'll let you know that, look, it's them things out there that when it comes to being tied down or when it comes to being things that get that okay, we pulling in and we moving forward. Anytime a man is constantly hesitating about anything that revolves around that, yeah, that ain't what he want in life. A man that I say a dog that's still trying to just sow his oats. He really just out there sowing his oats. He ain't trying to be with nobody else. He ain't trying to. No, I'm just out there to get what I can get as much as I can get, and you know, get it all. And then but I got my woman at home now. I got her. The one I want to be with is at home. I don't want you. And most of the men like that, that's dogs like that, that really they let them other women know, look, no, you're not number one. You're not Jordan, you Scottie Pippen.
So women need, okay, so let me just say, so women, if you're watching, you need to listen to this because a lot of times certain women are okay with being a side piece. And then if you're being a side piece, when the wife calls or when the woman at home, he didn't even say wife, he said when the woman at home calls, you're quiet because you know the deal. But you're allowing that to happen. And I think a lot of times women go into a situation thinking that the man is going to be satisfied or thinking they can turn him that way. And then that doesn't work. I found myself in a situation where I thought someone was, he said he was getting divorced and he wasn't getting divorced. And it was a horrible situation because I'm not one to share. I'm not one to be okay with, I'm at home or I'm not at home or you're calling me only when you can stick around. That is not me at all. So I just, I think it's good that you're telling us this, Ronnie. But one thing about age, so you said a dog or a good dog. I mean, he still might be 45. He might be 55 or 65, right? It's not about age. Do you agree with that? It's about maturity.
I mean, I don't agree with the age part because again, a man, you gonna depends on when you started out. I'll say that's the first part. It depends on when you started out sowing your oats. I started out when I was real young. Not saying that people should do that because, yeah, you shouldn't do that. You should wait, but I didn't. So when I started sowing my oats and playing the field, it burns. It gets old. Like I did a lot of stuff when I was young. Mm-hmm. I was going to strip clubs before I was 21.
Oh
and
my!
I grew up in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So I hung around older people. So all my cousins, we went to strip club. So when I got to 21, I was like, and everybody's, oh, you in Atlanta? You want to know? I did that.
Mm-hmm. But how long did it take you? How long did it take you to decide to get married when you started dating your wife? How long were you all dating before you got married?
It took us we dated for 5 years.
So why did it take so long?
Well, a lot was going on with me and my wife. We started dating. She was in college. One.
Oh, okay.
So she was trying to handle her business as far as getting her degree. Mm-hmm. I was just coming out a whole bunch of craziness when I met her. So I felt like, I was going from job to job and all that stuff. So then I was like, look, okay, I got somebody that's trying to do something with their life. Okay, I got my Jordan. So that's when it took me time to get myself together. And then I joined the military. So then once I joined the military, I had to get my feet wet in the military. So it was just other things that was going on. And then everybody like, okay, so when y'all gonna, and I mean, people started hitting like, when y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do? Look, once we get everything, so time really just passed by us trying to get ourselves together. So It wasn't really just me. My wife was trying to get herself together. I was trying to get myself together. And then once she felt like, okay, we both leading that way, then she started coming at me. Like, that's when she started hitting me like, look, I ain't about to sit around.
All right, very good. And you said you all have been married 20 years, right?
Yeah, 20 years coming November.
All right. Well, happy anniversary early. That's wonderful. So this is a good success story, right? Because I love it. When you said she was in college, I was like, okay, I got to give you some grace because she was, younger. She was getting herself together. And I think a lot of times people have to say, where am I in life? and what do I really want? And so we have to also give grace to men, though, because I just want to say that I know men often think that it's all about money. They have to be in a certain financial position. But just like I think Kim said, when your parents came together, his income and her income had them be able to build. So 5 plus 5 is 10, right? So, you can afford more house, you can afford more bills, you can afford more things because you're working together. And I think a lot of times, as older people, we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting. And I found that a lot of men kind of wait too late, and then they're kind of breaking down, and then they think that, women want them for the right reasons. And I think a man in his 40s can date someone who's in her 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or 60s. I think men have the pick of the litter if they want it. But it just depends on what you want. Do you all agree or disagree?
I mean, I agree. If you're going to date somebody in your 20s and you're maybe in your 50s, I mean, what's going to go along with that. She's going to want some money. She's not going to want to take you to your doctor's appointments. That's not going to be fun for her. She's not going to be wanting to rub that Bengay on your knees.
Not the big gay girl.
So what you got to do to keep someone like that. So it's what you really want. But one problem I have, and I do have I do have a question for Ronnie, is that you said your wife started saying, hey, okay, what are we gonna do? So do you think if she hadn't said that, would you have been just okay with, hey, we're just still dating? Or would you have been like, okay, yeah, it's time for me to get married?
I mean, no, I mean, I was there. But I take things slow. I also take things slower than what other people do, because I feel like people rush stuff, because, I knew I was lusting over her. I knew I wanted her from the jump, but I didn't want to get caught up in that haze where it's just lust. I needed to know everything. Like, people's different strokes, different folks. No, I need to live with you. I need to see what goes on. I need to see what you're doing when you get in that room, how it look all the time. I need to see everything.
Oh, Lord.
I need to see what I'm buying into and know if I can deal with it.
But being good Christian girls, we're not supposed to live with you.
Okay. Well, that ain't for me, because I need to know everything. And that's why I say I'm not, I'm still in Genesis. So I need to know everything before we move down that road.
Did you hear what he said, Kim? He said, I need to know how you keep that room every day.
Right.
So I guess that means we need to make sure we're making up our beds and not sleeping with pets.
No, because I need to know what's all gonna be, and I feel like you should know everything about me, because I see people and I be hearing people talking like certain things that people ain't gonna. I don't want to be married to your representative, if you know what I mean. Because every time you meet someone, you're gonna get that representative. The first dates, you coming out with your best drawers and bras and lingerie on, and you got all your good stuff on, and then you get with them, and next thing you know, they pull out the granny dress because that's their most comfortable nightgown thing, and you like, hold on, what happened to the nice lingerie that we had? No, I need to see all that to know if I can deal with it.
Okay, so what do you recommend? Can a woman wear the granny, what did you call them? Granny, you didn't say underwear. What did you say? Granny what?
Granny drawers.
You didn't even say that. He said granny dress. I think that was a very nice way to put it.
Yeah.
How many days a week can she wear the granny dress?
How many days a week?
I mean, yeah.
Like none.
I mean, it depends on the dude. I mean, me, my wife don't really do the, I'm lucky. She don't do the granny dress, but I'm a real particular dude.
Uh-huh.
So in that aspect, like, I'm a dude that don't think certain things that people do, they will look at me and be like, oh Lord. Because to me, if you're gonna present something to me, this is just a pet peeve. That's all, because I'm really color coordinated, matching, and doing stuff. You got to do stuff in order. You can't come to me thinking you sexy and you got on some brown drawers and a white bra. That's not sexy. You
Okay,
put some thought to it.
this
Put,
is very this is
put some
very
thought
good.
to it. It's a presentation. Some dudes, they don't care as long as you come. Guess what? Look, no, a real man, you want that presentation.
Okay.
The presentation is very well. Look, it goes far.
No, it
Okay.
works both ways now, Jo Lena. I mean, Ronnie, what the men have to bring it too.
Oh,
Clip the toenails and everything.
No doubt. Because lo and behold, I'm the romantic one in my marriage.
okay. So we know that Kim and I do not speak for all women, and you do not speak for all men. But I think you have given us a lot to think about, Ronnie. And so I'm going to ask you a few more questions. Um, I want to say a couple of other things too. This show is called Black Men Searching for Perfection. And I purposely chose that title because I felt it was kind of ambiguous. So, what I want to say is, we do love you, Black men. We want you. We want to support you. We want to know these things. That's what Authentic Joe Show is about, is hearing some of the things that we would not normally hear, because most men would not tell us this. Is this correct, Kim?
That's true.
They wouldn't tell us this. So I
Yeah.
want you all to listen. And as a man, I want you to know that this is a space where you can come, and I want you to feel free getting on the lives. I want you to feel free making comments so that we can talk about what's actually going on, because this is not just a relationship show, it's a life show. And I want to encourage you all to ask for advice. Be willing to talk about problems. I want to help you to be able to solve some of them. And I want to tell you, while we have some people on the line, we're going to talk about family secrets next week, and we're going to talk about the following week, seasons change. Are you keeping up? Okay, so just keep those in mind. So, Kim, I want to say thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to talk to Ronnie for a few more minutes. So, do you think you might come back again, Kim, and help us?
Sure. I'd like to come back. I got kicked out of a party talking with my thoughts on Kevin Samuels. So I'd like to talk about that. So,
You got kicked out of a party? Okay, yes, we will have to talk more about that. I want to thank you so much for your time and for your help and your support of this show. And I'm going to go ahead and talk to Ronnie before we wrap up, okay?
thanks. Nice to meet you, Ronnie.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay, so Ronnie, what is some advice, a few bits of advice, maybe four things you'd like to tell women that would help us to either prepare for a man or be better in our current relationships, be they relationships or marriage? What are four things you would like women to know?
Okay. All right. One would be when you're in a long-term relationship, remember that just as much as a woman wants to feel wanted, that man wants to feel wanted too. Uh, I'll just take it to the basic one that everybody always say when it comes to sex. A man, even if you're that woman that every time he taps you on the shoulder or he comes to you and he wants some, you give it to him. A man still wants to feel like he's wanted too. So sometimes you might need to be like, all right, I'm gonna be the aggressor, you know, to make him feel like, okay, my wife or my significant other wants me and still finds me attractive.
Okay.
Um,
Okay,
next,
so let me say something about that one. So I've heard men say that quite a bit. And I think women, we feel like, okay, well, he should come to me. I think that's the way we were kind of reared, that women are supposed to be there and men are supposed to seek us out. And I think that is just kind of a cultural thing. I'm not saying it's right. So I think it's good that women hear this, that if you're in a relationship, because I've heard many married men especially say that, when we were dating, she was wearing the sexy stuff. When we were dating, everything was hot and all this kind of stuff. And then after we got married, it just fizzled. Or after we got married, it was like she didn't want me anymore. And so I think it's important, women, we want flowers, we want cards, we want affection, we want attention. And I hear Ronnie saying they want similar things. Now they may not want a card, but maybe they want a special meal for lunch or a special meal for dinner, or maybe they want you to draw a bath or give a massage or something like that. That's what I'm hearing. What is that? Would you say that would be about right, Ronnie?
all those things are great.
Okay. And then remember, someone in the comments said twice a week you can wear the granny undies, but it sounded like Ronnie was saying never. Okay. Is Okay, I just putting out that point. Okay, what's number 2? Something else you want women to
Uh,
know?
the next thing, when be a man's peace. When he comes home, allow him to have some peace. If a man can come home to peace in his home, he'll be more vulnerable to you. He'll be more open to you. He'll, because that man is looking for you to. He has to battle all day out there in the streets. He should be able to come home and be at peace and build him up for the next day.
Okay.
So every man wants to have peace in his counsel.
Okay,
Not
very
saying
good.
that, not saying that things ain't gonna come up, and not saying that you got to bite your tongue on stuff, but even if I always say, and this is something that me and my wife had to learn. If you're gonna be in a long-term relationship and you feel as though you're in a relationship to win every argument, your relationship ain't gonna last that long.
That's good advice. And I want to say something about arguments. More than half of all arguments in the home happen within 15 minutes of someone coming in from work. That's a fact. It's a study. Over half of all arguments, it's way more than half of all arguments in the home happen within 15 minutes of someone coming home from work. So that means if you have, and it could be kids coming in from school, but if you have somebody coming in, you're stressed in those first 15 minutes. If your husband or your wife is coming in, they're stressed in those 15 minutes. Give somebody time. Just kiss them or just say hello or just whatever it is. And when you're driving home or you're taking the, public transportation, whatever you're doing, change your shoes, listen to some music, wind down, because the stress of the day, it's just too easy to bring it home. And when he says be his peace, you have, like he said, I love that. Don't feel like you have to win every argument. And some of us are very smart and we have smart mouths. And then we're not creating peace, we're creating conflict. So that is a lesson we need to learn. So think about that and give somebody a chance. Just say, oh, baby, go ahead, go change your shoes, get you something to drink, change your clothes. I'll talk to you when you finish. And he might be like, what? I mean, these are things, if you just want to be successful, these are some things you want to think about. And I'm going to tell you, I'm twice divorced. So I'm not talking from I'm so successful in this. I'm talking about I've created a lot of conflict and had a lot of problems. So that's why I'm being authentic about it. And someone said, so we need to unwind after coming in for work before asking about what's for dinner.
Yeah,
You can ask what's for dinner, but don't be mad if it's not ready yet. Let's just work together now. See, she's already trying to cause some problems.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Ronnie.
That's definitely a big one. Working together. Because you always hear women say when it comes to things that men has to be a helper. I think as far as men too, we need to you need to be a helper too, because you hear a lot of people say, oh, I pay the bills and all that. Yeah, that's not just it. You have to be that helper within your household. Cook, take something off her plate. Ease just as much as you want your mind eased, you have to ease your wife's mind too, or your significant other.
Gotcha. And you know what? I want to welcome those new people who are coming onto the stream. We're getting more and more people, and this is the first night. And if you want to come onto the live stream, we've put the link in the post. So just click that, and you can come on the live stream as well. I'm looking at a comment, Ronnie. It says 45% of the time it's because the man doesn't work. Woo, that's tough. So let me address this because you're talking to women. I don't think it's right that a man doesn't work, but I think a man needs to put his best effort forward, and so does a woman in terms of working. And in society today, Black men are targets for a lot of things. And even when they're not trying to be, if they carry themselves as a man, a dang on man, a lot of times people will be intimidated by them. And other men look at them and they see that they're virile, they see that they're, handsome, they see that they have swag, and then they want to cut them down, not having anything to do with that Black man, but having to do with their own insecurities. And right now it's really tough out here. So when he says be his peace, have you helped him with his resume? Have you made some phone calls? Have you directed him to some job searches? I mean, help him, because a lot of times men of a certain age are not always as savvy as we are as women about finding certain things. And I'm not saying it's up to you, but if you're working together, then it should help. Now, if somebody's just sitting there playing video games, that's a whole different story. If he's just living off of you, that's a whole different story. That's a whole different show. But I'm talking about the day to day. It is tough. There are a lot of jobs out here, but we have to think about where we are in life. Don't be too proud to get a job. Don't be too proud. Okay. So, if you need some benefits, Hey, Quick Trip is hiring. A lot of people are hiring. Okay. So sometimes we do have to put our egos down in order to lift ourselves up. All right. And like someone said, women are definitely more savvy. We do these things. We just naturally do them. So man, don't be afraid to ask her. Don't be intimidated to ask her. Don't have your pride and your ego so bad that you can't ask her to help you. But women, you need to be able to do that. And if you don't know how to write a resume, ask one of your friends or go to Fiverr.com, 5rr.com, and there are professionals who can help you write that resume to get that job. Thank you very much. I'm done. Go ahead, Ronnie. Point number 3, please.
Oh, can I say add something on that? Out of that 45%,
Yes.
out of that 45%, how many of them are men? Again, you got to determine who you're dealing with.
Ah, you mean as opposed to a boy or a dog? Is that
Yeah,
what you're talking about?
if you're dealing with someone that's a real man, is only gonna fall on his face for so long. Especially if he got that backbone at home, that's that true woman that's building him up. A man only gonna stay down for so long.
Okay.
A man. So out of that 45%, how many of them are men?
Okay, so you all, if you just joined, Ronnie gave us a distinction between boys and dogs and good dogs. And so he was talking about that boys are often immature, they're not focused, they just want to play around. Dogs, they may have a woman at home, but they just want to have fun and they're not trying to settle down. And a real man is willing to take care of a lot of things, but he also needs you to be his piece. So when he says how many out of the 45% we're talking about, then if you think about a real man, that's who he's saying. There are probably not a lot of them who are like that. And that 45% would not go for all of them. So I just want to clarify that. All right. We're on a roll, Ronnie. Any other advice for women?
The other thing that I would say, when a man and a woman, y'all want to be able to. I already said about the argument. Thing about an argument, all you have to do when it comes to an argument, say what you mean. An argument don't have to last for forever and all that. If you say whatever disturbing you about the situation, say what you have to say. She say what she got to say. If y'all need to okay, we both said we got to say, walk away. You heard me, I heard you. Then we could come back and be like, all right, this is what I heard you say, and this is what I take from it. And leave it at that. All of us, both parties have to stop being stubborn. Because if you determine that this is the person you're gonna be with for life, what are you sitting around for 2-3 days, a week, 2 months, still mad at something? If you ain't leaving, let it go.
That's very good. He says, say what you mean in an argument. Listen to the person while they're saying it. Then let the other person say what they mean. Walk away. And then come back and say, this is what I heard. Is that what you meant? This is what I heard. Is that what you meant? And then be able to stop being stubborn. I'm taking notes because you all know I love to take notes. And so I think that is some of these people don't know about me, but I do like to write and stuff. So I have to, take my notes because this is very good. Ronnie, I think this is excellent. You also, sent me a message and you said that you talked about men being vulnerable, and that's one of the reasons you wanted to come on the show. And you said how important it was for men to be able to be safe, to be vulnerable with women, and to talk about things that have happened in their past without being held to it or made to feel ashamed later. Can you speak on that a little bit more? Anything else that I've said?
Yeah, a man, you go and like I said, we're supposed to be hard. We're supposed to be protectors, provider. But to help a man not break down, because every day he's chipping away at that armor. Sometimes that man has to be able to come tell you something. You like I said, be his piece. Let him be able to come and unload to you, and you just be that sounding board to hear it. Some of it might not even be for you to do anything about it. You just need to be that sounding board for him to release that. So guess what? He can renew himself and then go back out and do what he got to do. So many times I hear people come back and something that your man used you as a sounding board for, you get mad. Next thing you know, you throw it in his face. Something that he told you, it could be some stuff that go on in our past when we were younger, stuff that we just didn't understand us that's harming us. I mean, because so many people are carrying so much package from younger ages that they just did not get resolved. So therefore, they're bringing it into their life, and some stuff we just have to get an understanding of it and move on.
Yes. And so I want, in full disclosure, I do know Ronnie. I've worked with Ronnie in the past. Ronnie contacted me a few years ago because he was interested in telling his story about growing up and his mother being abused and almost losing her. And I was actually his writing coach and helped him to, publish his book, to write it and publish it. And so, Ronnie, do you have a copy of your book right there?
Uh,
Not close. It's okay. I
no,
we'll post it. I do have it over here on the shelf, but I'd have to leave the camera again. But what's the name of the book, Ronnie?
say it again.
What's the name of the book?
What title did we end up coming with?
You don't know the title.
No, but we wrote we went through so many different titles.
Okay, you guys, I'm leaving the camera. Let me go get the book. Okay, so Ronnie, can you talk
Okay,
about?
here you go. Growing up in it, how domestic violence almost killed my mother and destroyed our family.
There you go. You have it in front of you. Can you turn it around? Yes, there it is, and that's little Ronnie. Growing up in it, how domestic violence almost killed my mother and what, our family?
Almost destroyed our family.
Yes, very good. Okay, you can put it down. Thank you. That's available on Amazon, you guys, and it's really. Oh, is it available on Amazon or your website? I'm sorry.
It's on my website. Right now, you can go to shoptlc.com.
Okay. Okay,
And
put that in the comments when you, after we finish, Ronnie, so that people can go get that. So one of the reasons I was hoping Ronnie would agree to come on the show tonight is because him seeing his mother almost die due to domestic violence was a big deal. And he came out of a lot of challenging circumstances, but he still became a man, a damn man. Excuse my language. I do cuss sometimes. And I'm saying that because a lot of times we don't get past our past because we're not willing to heal. And that's part of what this is about. So if you want, just some little non-substantive stuff, this show is probably not for you. But if you want to get down to the bottom of it and start to peel away the pain and start to have some real solutions, then you are in the right place. And I hope you come back every single Tuesday. And I said this earlier, I asked you all, please sign up on the YouTube link. We really need you to come to the YouTube link because I'm not going to be on Facebook a long time. I want to really build this platform on YouTube. I'm asking you to subscribe to it. I'm asking you to share it. I'm asking you to comment. And if you have any questions, if you want any advice, if you want to talk about something personal, please ask me about it so that I can address it on the show. And if you want to be anonymous, that's good too. But I wanted to mention this because I'm very proud of Ronnie, what he's done, not only as an author, but also as a husband and as a father. And if you heard him say, I went to the military, he could have done anything else. And there are so many people in his life and so many Black men that we've lost. If we go back and say from elementary school, how many Black men are still here? There's a lot of them that are missing. And it's very sad. And anybody who has been a dog, stop doing it. If you're still acting like a boy and you're 42, stop being that way. Don't wait till you're 59 and you think women are going to want to deal with your stinky feet.
Not the sticky feet.
I'm just saying. Okay, so Ronnie, I want to thank you for what you said. I hope you do decide to come back. I wish you all the very best. Please tell your lovely wife I said hello. And thank you for sharing your wisdom. We really appreciate it. And, on this show, I want to continue to have people who have different perspectives because I'm a woman and I don't know it all. So that's very important. So thank you so much for being here. Okay.
No problem. Anytime.
All right. Thanks. All right. So we're almost at an hour, everyone. And I just want to say thank you for being at the world premiere of the Authentic Jo Show here on Facebook Live and also YouTube. I just asked for you guys to please share the link. It does make a difference. You guys, I text a whole bunch of people in my life today and I was like, please support, please support. And so hopefully there's some people who don't even know me and they're also coming to see what we have to offer. But today was the first time. And so hopefully it's the first time of many times. So I want to thank you for that. I also want to leave you with some final thoughts. Look at all that fanciness. Let's do that one more time. Can we have final thoughts one more time? That is just cracking me up. My final thoughts. The world can be very cold, and so can people. We are in a very difficult time of life. We have a lot of wars. We have a lot of poverty. We're talking about recession, and there's a lot of racism and a lot of nasty people and a lot of nasty things. Please register to vote if you have not registered. I know here in Missouri, the deadline is tomorrow night at midnight. Okay. In terms of wherever you are, if you're not registered, please go ahead and do it. We need you to vote in the midterms. If we don't do what we're supposed to do now, it's going to be worse later in January. Just trust me on that. You were born for a purpose. You were born to not only survive, but to also thrive. I want you to think of yourself like an acorn. And what happens with the acorn? The little acorns fall off the tree. And if they fall onto the concrete, somebody can come and smash them and they're dead. Or they can fall into good soil and be watered and be nurtured. And all of a sudden they grow into a sprawling oak. You are an oak tree. And sometimes you just need a little help. Sometimes you just need a little water, a little nurture, a little sun, a little cuddling, a smile, to treat yourself well and to learn to treat other people well. I have a little paper here and it says how to beat stress and boost happiness. A little help from your friends. People with stronger social relationships have a 50% lower risk of mortality. Find your friends. Find your people. Don't allow people to trample on you. Be that sprawling oak. It's not too late. Those are my final thoughts. So, in conclusion, be good to yourself and each other. Be absolute good. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next Tuesday.